One very important fact we have to remember about life is that the universe operates according to the law of balance. Now, what does that mean? If we think of the symbol of yin and yang, we see it in the old, karate and kung fu movies. You have the yin yang symbol that's painted on the wall of the dojo. What does that really mean? If we think about this idea, it basically means that two opposing forces have to balance themselves out by creating an equilibrium in the middle. Like when we walk, we have to put our weight on our right and left side. When we're in the cold, we seek heat. When we're hot, we seek something to cool us down. If we have too much of an extreme of one energy, the other energy will naturally draw us towards it. So, what does this mean for us within ourselves? What does this mean for us when we've experienced trauma, right? A trauma is a very negative experience. Maybe it's a death in the family. Maybe if you're a veteran and you've been in combat, maybe it's the loss of someone. Maybe it's an event happening where you got mugged or beat up. Whatever the case may be, this negative experience, it created an extreme amount of negative feelings within you. And so your mind will naturally gravitate towards trying to counter that negative feeling by creating positive ones. And the fastest way to do this is a coping mechanism. And so this is why I'm gambling to say that people fall into alcoholism, they fall into drug use, they fall into sex addictions, gambling addictions, they overeat, they smoke cigarettes, they drink tons of coffee, whatever vice we use. This is just our mind's unconscious attempt to balance out the negative feeling that has basically rooted itself within us. But in the process of doing this, one thing we don't realize, and one very important fact we need to take note of, is that just because we experience a positive feeling to replace a negative one, it doesn't necessarily resolve anything that's already inside of us. The only way that we're going to find true resolve is we have to address those negative feelings and we have to process them, face them, and remove them. Then and only then will we be in a position to actually be free of what's driving us towards these extremes and what's driving us towards this extreme sense of seeking pleasure and gratification so we can find a place of equilibrium within. Because if we're pulled to one side, the other side is going to naturally try to balance out by pulling us towards its opposite.